Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're drinking bourbon. All right, Ben, normally when we do these videos, we wear Bourbon Note merch.
Yeah.
What's up with that? What are you wearing?
I've got Bourbon Note merch. Look at that.
Oh,
not available in Minnesota.
With the logo.
With the logo and everything, which is kind of a thing that comes up on this show a lot if you're a regular viewer of this show.
Where'd you get that?
You know what is available in Minnesota and any other state that you might live in is this t-shirt. So, we've got a merch store, and I think there's a link to it in our...
It should be in the description below.
I don't know if it's in the description of the video or just our YouTube description of our channel.
Should be in both, hopefully. I'll double check. But
So anyway, check that out. There's all kinds of cool stuff on there.
totally.
We also have a Patreon if you're interested in that. We're just sending out some samples of whiskeys that we've reviewed to some of our Patreon friends, and so go check that out. There's bonus content there. Anyway, let's get into the video.
All right, subject is...
Well, so Greg sends me a text today, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare for this. It's like,
Sometimes that's best.
let's do a video of disappointing bourbons. And now this doesn't necessarily have to mean bad bourbons, or it doesn't necessarily have to mean, you know, some cheap, horrible mixer bourbon. It's just stuff that maybe you had high hopes for and it didn't live up to it, or maybe it was just flat out terrible.
So, as an example, where is it? Do you have 2 stars?
Yeah. Got it down here somewhere.
Or, well, how about benchmark? Or ancient age? This will work. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is a bottom shelf, entry level bourbon. We have low expectations for it, so when it's only okay, we're not disappointed. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It met our expectations. So that's not a disappointment. What we're talking about are things
No, I wouldn't consider it to be particularly good.
it's okay.
Ancient Age is okay. Benchmark is blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, these
So-
are ones that we tried and maybe just had a little bit of...
And they're not necessarily bad.
Right.
Just the expectation was too high, and that's probably us to blame more than distillery, but
Or there's something about it.
here goes.
So let's bring out the first one. Do you want to get started?
All right. Number 1.
Tell you what, let me get started because then I'll pour whatever my
okay.
first one.
Yeah, why don't you start?
Because I'm going to give this one a retry. This one is, bam, Thomas S. More Chardonnay cask finish. So this one, and we recently did one called Amador that was also a Chardonnay cask finish.
Yep.
And I aggressively hated that.
You did.
And I remember not liking this one either, and it had the same kind of note to it that I did not like, so I think I'm just not a Chardonnay cask finish.
I did a road
fan.
trip last year, was out in Bozeman, Montana, saw this in Bozeman Liquors or whatever it was called, picked it up. I really like it. I actually did a pour right before we started filming, so I have the same thing in my glass. I kind of like it, but you say, you have a name for what you get as a flavor profile.
Yeah.
I get that as well. I guess I just
Bleach.
don't dislike it as much.
Greg likes the taste of bleach.
Evidently. It's not bleach, but it is something close to bleach. Anyway, my first choice.
Hey, I'm gonna try this real quick and see if
knock it out.
Oh God, it's still there.
All right, I gotta try it. Then I'll do mine.
Ugh. It's like bleach or chlorine or something. It's just,
It's subtle, but yeah, you're right. There's something there.
I find it extremely off-putting. Like it almost gives me a little in the pit of my stomach, like a ugh.
But the rest of the bourbon flavors are so good.
Well, I think it started out as a great bourbon, and this is from Barton Distillery, so just go get some 1792 and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Don't put 1792 in a Chardonnay cask. And this is, what is it, about $80 a bottle or something like that?
Something like that.
It's pretty expensive.
It's on the bit expensive side.
Anyway, still don't like it. I'm not a Chardonnay cask finish fan, but I'm gonna drink it.
A couple years ago, out bourbon hunting, saw this sitting on the shelf. I think I way overpaid for this particular.
Is that just the regular Angel's Envy?
It is. We did a review of it. And it's not that it's bad. It's 86.6 proof. It's fine. But it was one of those, it sat on my shelf for like a year, and I really thought it was gonna be amazing. And it's just okay.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it, but it just came across as one of those, I wish I didn't pay so much. I wish it was better.
I hate this.
Okay, fair enough.
In all honesty, I almost put this on my list too. And again, it's not that it's bad. This is a great entry-level bourbon. It's a little expensive for what it, it's a 45 area, I think, on average.
I think I paid way more than that.
Did you really?
I think so. That's my concern.
This is a good entry-level bourbon, and it's got the barrel. It's a great entry into wine barrel finished bourbons. And so the first bottle I bought of this, I really liked actually. And this one is one that I think, and this was a long time ago, and so by the time we did the review, I had long ago had and killed a bottle of it.
Yeah.
And then I had a pour of this when I was on vacation, and I just remember like, oh man, this just isn't what I remember it being. And then when you tried it for the first time, I think you're just maybe far enough along into the bourbon experience that this one was just not.
I paid $58, and that's too much.
You got screwed.
Yeah, I did.
All right, so second one is, bam, this is Koval. This is a Chicago distillery. Single barrel bourbon. This one, if you guys watched our review of this.
So I don't remember specifically what we said, but it seems like it was okay.
One of 2 bourbons I've ever put a disclaimer on at the beginning of our video.
Oh, that's right.
Because this is one where in the initial review, I actually liked it a lot. I was pleasantly surprised because craft distillery, you don't necessarily know what you're gonna get, and they're a lot of times overpriced. This was like $40, so it wasn't, especially for a craft distillery doing what I am assuming, I believe is it's their own distillate. So kudos to them.
Okay.
It was good in that initial tasting, and every pour I had of it after that just got worse and worse and worse. So by the time I edited the video and went to release it,
you actually refilmed a little intro.
I filmed a little intro just saying, hey, just want to let you guys know my opinion of this has changed.
Yeah.
And I've never had to do that on a different bottle. Yep. So I was disappointed because I kind of had, I had heard from a friend that this was good, and I think he just had it the one time too and said, yeah, I was kind of pleasantly surprised. And that's the exact reaction that you and I had as well.
Yeah.
And then it just got worse and worse and worse, and I had a little pour of it earlier today before you came over to do this, just to remind myself, and there's a weird sour note to it. And some people did comment on this and mention that there's a weird grain that they use, and I can't remember what it is. I don't have the mash bill handy.
Yeah.
But there is some sort of like weird different grain that they use in their bourbon. I don't know if that attributes that weird taste to it, but it's got like a sourness to it that just became very off-putting over time. So that's why I was disappointed with this one, because I liked it. And I was honestly like, oh, this is, $40. This will be my daily drinker for the next couple weeks, And then I went back to it. The next time I was like, the taste is good. Maybe I just ate something or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And a couple days later, I had another pour of it, and I was like, no, this is falling off the cliff. So
that's unfortunate. All right, next up for me is, where am I going? Am I gonna go there? What is that?
Is this gonna be a difficult one for you? Is that the bottle? Jesus, you put a dent in that.
I have to explain. Yes, so it's almost gone.
Didn't we just review that?
Yes, there's a very specific reason why it's almost gone. This has been old-fashioned.
Really?
Mixer.
Wow.
We did a review where I think I said it was good.
I remember really liking that one. I don't think it wasn't blown away by it. I think I like that Fusion Series. What is this? 3?
The one that you had
is better, but
was better. And this one, it didn't connect with me. Then I revisited it the next day. Was just over it. And so it moved from the regular shelves to the old-fashioned shelf. And
wow,
over the course of the last month and a half, I've had a fair number of old fashions with this.
Sure.
And I've genuinely, I've heard so many good things about Distillery. I know that it's another line with a red label. Some people put those in their top 3 whiskeys
the
of the
Fusion and
year.
The Discovery and stuff like that. And they're all different because they're all different blends of different things. I'm pretty shocked by that one.
But this particular one, it was kind of expensive, and I almost bought one of those Discovery Series ones at over $100.
Kill that.
Yep, that's okay.
I won't pour it out.
You can try that if you want.
But. I'm going to, and I don't know if it's going to taste great after drinking bleach, but
but every sip after that has just not been great, and it's not a bad whiskey. It just, for me, doesn't
falls into
work
that
right.
category of just it let you down for what your expectations were.
Totally. All right, so that's my number 2.
So sometimes having expectations for a bourbon, it's kind of like when you really want to see a movie and you just want it to be great and it just can't possibly live up to your expectations.
Totally.
Now, I don't think we have that high of hopes for any bourbon we try, that it just can't possibly live up to it.
But if you're going where I think you're going, I think there are a few bourbons that really should show up with their A game.
Yeah, for sure. All right,
And
so...
sometimes, well...
And go ahead.
I'll let you
All right.
introduce
So we'll bring this one in. Bam. This is Oregon Spirit. Now, this isn't just this bourbon. If you watched our Total Wine flight where we did some cheap budget stuff from Total Wine,
was
there's
12 bourbons.
Their Spirits Direct line of
Yes.
whiskeys.
Yep.
This was one of them. This happens to be a more expensive one. It's like $60.
Is that the 100 proofer one?
Yes, this is actually a bottled and bond single barrel
Yeah.
by Oregon Spirit. A friend of mine gave me this bottle, and I'd wanted this bottle. I'd had my eye on it for a while, so when he gave me this bottle, I was like super excited because I was like, I was gonna buy that one. It's like $65.
Yeah.
And it just tastes weird. Like, we opened it up and and he took a sip and he's like, oh God, no, I don't like that at all. And so it's not just Oregon Spirit. That whole flight, there were a couple of decent ones, but for the most part, anything from the Spirits Direct, we just were not fans of.
Not really, no.
And Spirits Direct, in short, is kind of like it's kind of like their house brand a little bit. I don't know if they like contract or whatever, but and then now you've got the Fred Minnick
picks. But he's picking some of those Spirits Direct bourbons.
Right. So
Whiskeys.
I think he did some sort of a tasting with Total Wine where he gave us thoughts and like, oh, this isn't bad, whatever. But now they're taking, like, you go into Total Wine and they've got, they always have their own sticker of like their employee loves this bourbon and it's always a Spirits Direct one.
Of course.
And now they're putting the Fred Minnick's picks on like the shittiest ones that they have. Like an $11 bottle of 3-year bourbon. It's like, come on.
I have an idea. What do you think of this idea? Now, I don't endorse stealing. Stealing is wrong.
Can't wait to see where this goes.
However, ask for permission when next time you're in Total Wine and you see one of those signs that says Fred Minnick said, request permission to be given one of those signs.
Okay.
Put it in your pocket. Keep it. The next time you're in Kentucky and you meet Fred Minnick, ask him to sign it. Don't say anything.
The next time I'm in Kentucky and meet Fred Minnick, I've never met Fred Minnick. So
we as a channel, hopefully soon, with Patreon support, are going to be heading to Kentucky.
God, it smells like bleach because this shit has ruined the glass. I rinsed it and everything. Sorry.
But the odds of us, a gigantic channel on the YouTube, meeting Fred Minnick, it's like almost 100%. We're going to meet him. But I think you should have one of those Fred Minnick says little signs in your pocket. And you say, can you sign this? And then
go put it back at the Total Wine thing?
No. Then because he's signing whatever the name of one of those bourbons is, like Eagle, whatever it was, Wild Eagle or American
Black
Freedom.
Eagle.
Yeah, like he knows what he was.
I don't think he put his signature on it, but we're going way off topic here, by the way. But I think they're getting a little loose with the Fred Minnick's picks. I think so. Yeah. So I would love to hear his actual opinion on that. Anyway,
we
have to edit some of that out.
No, it's okay.
All right. So your next one,
we're going to a musical.
This does taste actually like the bleach note is on the nose from this, but this tastes really good.
Okay, it's just me. Yeah, this is a 375. They normally do come in a little bit bigger bottle. And again, this is a good bourbon.
I can see how you were a little bit let down by this, though.
Yeah. This one here, this is Heaven's Door. This is we had a flight of 3 Heaven's Door. This is their straight bourbon whiskey. Mm-hmm. It's fine, but having seen them on the shelves for a year and a half, finally pulled the trigger, it was only okay. And it wasn't crazy expensive, but it just, I don't know. I expected maybe more from it.
They are a little expensive for what they are. Now,
it's a celebrity whiskey, and but
I think we really like the rye.
The rye,
and we had a store pick.
We had a flight. Yep.
Yeah.
So some of them are okay, but the normal, it seems like the everyday bourbon is only okay. So
yeah, we have that store pick that we reviewed. That's really good, actually. Those are usually like $70. I got that one for $39.
Right.
Which is ridiculous, but that was very impressive. Also cask strength. So, yeah, I mean, I can see, because the regular Heaven's Door, I think, is a little expensive, and it kind of falls into that category. If you're going to spend the $50 or 40-some bucks or whatever, you've got better options.
Yeah, you want to show up a little bit. I've got to clear my glass for I'm going to do a pour of my number 4 just because I want to revisit it one more time as I throw it out. But do you have anything else?
I do, and
Go ahead.
This hurt. I'm going to do the unthinkable.
This is courage.
This hurts my heart.
Yeah, that's okay.
And this is going to come with a lengthy explanation. This is BAM. This is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Now, I love Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.
Ditto.
Love it. I don't have a bottle of it that I don't like.
Ditto.
I love the bourbon that's inside this bottle.
Yes.
When we reviewed the last batch that we did, B522, I very poorly explained, I think, my opinion on the price of this. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a cask strength 12-year bourbon. It's worth every penny of the 80 or 90 bucks or whatever.
90 bucks in Minnesota.
For
when we see it.
For what it is. I think it's 80. And then with tax, it gets you up close to 90.
Gotcha.
That's not my problem with the price.
Okay.
My problem is that since I got into the bourbon game and then started actually being able to find these, has been in the last 2 years of when all of these are kind of coming out around the same proof. They used, like, you've got one that's like 137 proof.
Yep.
They used to be much higher. They're all kind of dwindling down into that low 120s, mid 120s, even down to 118, one of them was.
Yep.
And that's fine. Like, again, 120 proof, 12-year, bourbon commands a price point, and I don't have a problem with that. I'm getting to the point, though, where, and I think we should do maybe a flight of all of them next to each other, but every time I buy a bottle of this now, it just doesn't stand out much from any of the other ones. There's differences, and I know some people say, well, this batch is so much better than that batch, and I just don't really, I don't know.
Yeah.
So when I go to buy one of these, because I love Elijah Craig and I love the barrel proof, I'm looking at it now, it's like, okay, I could spend another $80 to $90 on this if the next one comes out and it's the same proof point.
Yep.
Or, maybe I go buy a barrel expression or something that's, because I walk past those all the time because they're so expensive. And then every time one of these comes out, I immediately buy it. Mm-hmm. And it's getting to the point where I don't know if it warrants that anymore unless it comes out and changes a little bit.
Because they release 3 a year. They're kind of expensive.
Yeah.
And they're becoming a little bit one note. Now, they're all good. It's a good one note.
Well, it's not that they're one note. It's just that they're all
consistent.
Kind of the same. Yeah. They're all pretty consistent. Like they're, so it's just like, so when the next one comes out, if it's the same proof point, I might take my 80, 90 bucks and just spend it somewhere else because I've got a whole shelf full of barrel proof ones and they're all so similar that, and don't get me wrong, I love them, but
it's hard to keep adding more.
Yeah, it's starting to get hard to justify when there's not as much of a nuance between them.
Yep.
So as much as it pains me, this did make the list, which again, like, is unthinkable because I love it, but it's just getting a little bit redundant. So anyway, put in the comments if you just completely, unsubscribe to this channel now because of that, or if you agree.
If they haven't yet, they will now.
What is wrong with you?
My only complaint with this happens to be a small bottle, is I can't find it often enough. This could be the greatest bourbon ever. And I wish I could find it more.
Technically.
Yeah, technically it's Kentucky.
That's
Tennessee
pretty
whiskey.
bold.
Yeah.
That particular, is that the 133 proof one?
It is. You want to pour? It's not on my list, by the way. This is a joke.
Okay. So this one disappoints you because it's hard to find?
Yes. That's its only complaint. All right.
Yeah, I'll try a little sample of this.
Final one. This is Knob Creek 15-year, 100 proof.
Ooh, okay.
Now, basically very similar to what you said with the Elijah Craig barrel proof. This is a good bourbon.
100 bucks.
100 bucks. It's just a little bit hot. And to be honest, the 12 years better, I think. I'm gonna do a quick pour of it. I don't
think you're alone in that. If I recall, I think I've seen other reviews where that's been the case for people. They've liked the 12-year a little bit better, and it's a little less expensive.
Yeah, the 12-year is definitely less expensive.
There's the cast strength 12-year that's the same price, but the regular 12,
True.
that's 100 proof, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's good, but it's a bit of a unicorn, hard to find. You actually found it and picked one up. And we did a review on the channel, and it's one of those, I thought it'd be better kind of things. You know, it's not the biggest disappointment in the world, but...
I mean, it was really good bourbon. It's just what your expectations are at 15 years and $100.
But it wasn't the most, like, well-rounded, most interesting flavors. Like, the 12-year was just better. Like, I don't know, maybe I have an exceptional 12-year bottle that, you know, is punching above its weight, but...
Well, is it that it was approaching the over-oaked thing? Yeah, which, that can happen, you know.
Totally is. Still there.
This particular single barrel of that Jack Daniels, we've had this on other videos, is exceptional. That's why I had to have at least just a little pour of it.
Yeah, like I'll put it out here in the front just for the photo.
Well, I won't include these in the photo because then nobody has to watch the video. They'll already know what our bourbons are.
Like, yes, this is the bourbon note, and yes, we love bourbon. But I got to tell you,
yeah, these things are outstanding. It's
private barrel selects. Is that what they're called?
Single barrel proof.
Single barrel proof. They're 130 to 150.
Well, for the limited release ones, they typically range from like maybe 128 to 133.
Yeah, something like that. And I think I have 3. You have a couple.
Yeah, they're exceptional.
They are amazing.
Yeah. And luckily, we can actually, for the most part, find these.
This
falls into the category of I'd rather go buy one of those than another barrel proof.
I totally agree.
Elijah Craig barrel proof. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now you know our most disappointing letdown for whatever reason whiskeys.
We're talking about bourbons, not just in life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. I mean, interesting list because I didn't know what Greg was going to bring, and
I didn't know what you would bring,
and I didn't know if I would have. I don't think I would have guessed those would be yours. So kind of interesting. So if you've had the same experience, or if you whatever your particular bourbons are that have been disappointing, shoot us a comment. Let us know. So anyway, well, this has been our disappointing bourbons on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Thanks for watching. Share this video with a friend. Cheers.